Live from my mother's basement, here's Johnny. Guys, I haven't done one of these in a long time, and I'm not going to go piece by piece through it. I'm just going to give you what I thought really quick for the TNA Impact episode on November 1st, 2012. Lately, the Aces and Eights thing seemed like it was losing a lot of steam, even with the reveal of Devon there being part of the group. I really felt like it was kind of getting to be really anticlimactic and like it was going to drag out. I think they really kind of started to re-energize that a little bit tonight, and just a lot of thoughts going through my mind about who might be the final major player, whether it's Bully Ray himself going to be the mastermind of the group, whether it's this Joseph Park Abyss character who, honestly, guys, like a year ago and even longer than that ago, I never gave a shit about Abyss. I've really never cared about him, but the way that he's playing this cowardly face, but yet intelligent, it's just like a really big swerve, and it's something different. And I think I'm finally starting to get behind the guy a little bit. The fact that he has this duality of characters. When he was Abyss and he was a chicken shit, that really didn't get over because it was the guy behind a mask and he was afraid of his own shadow, and he had the Mick Foley thing and he got fired by Eric Bischoff kind of sorta, and it was just weak. But this is a lot different. This is a way to turn that side of him around, and this is a way to kind of unleash the ferocity so that when they bring the Abyss character back, you actually kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I can get behind that. And if he does start to have more of these extreme matches after the fact, you can really respect him for that because you get to see the human side of him instead of the asshole behind the mask kind of thing. So I think that it's a good way to connect with the audience, and I think that it did a really good thing tonight when he was in the main event there, unmasking Luke Gallows. That's a big fucking deal, and I think if him and Luke Gallows, two big men, can feud and to get somebody interested in it, I think that'll do a lot of good, not only for just the Aces and Eights storyline, but for the TNA roster in general, because it'll give us something we haven't seen before. And that's a lot of the problem with TNA, is that they get stuck in these ruts like fucking AJ and Daniels. I mean, you get so much of it that you're belly aching sick of it. I like where they're going with the AJ, Bobby Roode, James Storm three-way dance. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, but I'll really enjoy all of the men that are involved in that. I think it's going to be one of the highlights of the night. I can't say that I'm still too crazy about Jeff Hardy being champion, but if it gets us a ladder match for the title, hopefully these two individuals that are involved can deliver. I mean, we've seen Jeff Hardy in ladder matches before, and although I'm really not a Jeff Hardy fan, he's generally delivered, and it's really hard for him to not deliver in that kind of element. That's been his whole career. He's been the death-defying, high-risk guy. So pushing Austin Aries to that next level, having him involved in something that he really hasn't given us a lot of in TNA, just to show another side of what he can do, I really think that that's going to go places. I like that they're doing Magnus versus Samoa Joe again. I'm not going to lie. That's really cool. And I only think that as a springboard opportunity for these two guys, because nobody involved in that feud is going to be worse off for it. I think it's really because it's low enough on the card with the television title that if Joe was to lose it to Magnus, it would really do Magnus a solid. But at the same time, Magnus is being able to show that he can go toe-to-toe with Joe, and this no DQ match ought to be really fun with a lot of different weapons involved and just, extreme fucking high-impact moves that you're not really used to seeing out of Magnus all the time. Usually he's kind of more of a intelligent style wrestler, you might say. Sure, he's got the strength on his side to do the high-impact some of the time, but I don't know. I like the way that this could go. I like the fact that Joe is a submissions guy, and maybe they'll throw Magnus a bone or two, and he'll try to develop more as a character and more moves into his offensive repertoire, because, one of the things that was limiting Magnus, I think, even when he was in the tag team with Joe, was the fact that his offense really didn't carry a lot of versatility. It didn't really carry a lot of adaptation. It was kind of the same couple of things. He had a power slam that I remember, the elbow drop off of the turnbuckle, You know, he didn't really have a lot of speed and strikes with him. He did that one clothesline that DiBiase used to do in WWE where he would follow the opponent into the rope, and then when the guy would turn around, he'd fucking take his head off with it. That's pretty cool. But I'd like to see him develop more and that character get some more airtime. He's definitely improved on the microphone quite a bit, even since that British Invasion stuff. It was a feel-good night for me. The low light probably was when Jesse and ODB were in the ring. I kind of tuned out for that. I went and took a big dump. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But even that, for what it's worth, if it's going to interject ODB into a feud with Tara at some point, it's something that we haven't seen to death. And it's just, I feel like TNA is trying right now, especially with Hogan and Sting, the way that they're being involved with these other guys, trying to put other people over into the main event right now. The way that Bully Ray is really coming forward as a leader in that locker room, I think, and on the television, just cutting the promos and being a featured part of it, and doing all this stuff that normally he would have never done as a heel. You know, I really think that they're teasing this babyface thing in order just to make him the leader of the Aces and Eights in the very end, which is what a lot of people thought during the whole Bound for Glory series. I think they got a lot of things right tonight, albeit having to rush because they tried to cram a lot of stuff in, but in order to hype up this pay-per-view, which is, you know, a week and 3 days from now, like, you know, 10 days away almost, it was just a really good, you know, chance to build that up, open fight night or not, and I think they delivered tonight. I really liked the commentary team in the beginning. I don't remember his name, Todd or Ted or whatever the hell he is, and JB. I think they should really stick with those guys, to be honest. I think Taz could take as much time off as he wants. That's fine. And I did notice that Mike Tenay, even though he was only on commentary for an hour, he still just didn't seem as enthusiastic or up to what he had been, you know, years and years ago. He wasn't even really good then. He was just like, you know, a knowledgeable person in the WCW. I remember him being on Thunder a couple of times and on Nitro, and he kind of replaced Larry Zbyszko. You know, and I've never found him funny ever. I find it nostalgic that he's still around, but maybe he should be one of the backstage interview guys, asking like limited questions. And I think they should really just put JB and this new guy on commentary, and maybe just bring Don West back, just for those color spots, because JB and the other guy, Ted, Todd, Tim, whatever the hell his name is, they really both seem like play-by-play type of people, and I think they really need a commentator in there that can add the color. Maybe bring out something like a Bobby the Brain Heenan or a Jerry the King Lawler used to do. And I really see JB growing into this, into his own. You know, the fact that, to me, every time he gets on the microphone there, he doesn't necessarily convey, you know, Jim Ross's expertise and his, you know, just the way that he used to capture the crowd with his commentating. But I think that the passion is definitely there. You can hear it in his voice, and he doesn't overdo it, and he doesn't underdo it. He seems like he's got the natural flow of what you need to do to hype a situation. And what I like about JB is he doesn't cut off the fucking talent in the ring when they're on the microphone, or if they're backing up the stage, taunting each other, you know, and the camera's right there. Like with the Daniels and Kazarian thing with the tag champs. I really liked how that went. I really thought it was funnier than shit when they called out the Spanish announce team. I laughed so hard. I've been talking back and forth with my friend Dan tonight from dantalkswrestling.livejournal.com, and hopefully his roundup will reflect, you know, what I saw tonight. I enjoyed the show. If I was to give it a grade, I would say definitely an A- show tonight, and they could have worked on better pacing, because it seemed like there was a lot of shit they wanted to just jam in, but they covered a lot of things tonight. They covered something for every title they have, and they really tried to get people in feuds, which I think is a huge thing to hype up the matches. And they exposed some of the matches, I think, just kind of preluded what they're going to be at Turning Point. So I'm interested to say what you guys have to say. Hopefully it'll be up before the end of the night here, depending on when YouTube decides it wants to fucking do it. This has been a Live from Your Mother's Basement production, and I'm Johnny. I'll check you out later, and you'll check me out, hopefully a lot more too. Hopefully I'll get back to doing this sort of thing a little bit more when I feel like the product is worth reviewing. So definitely a good effort by TNA. Keep it up. You know, it's really refreshing to enjoy wrestling for once.